I think are finally here.
Good.
I think it is finally just about that time. All right. Well, let's do this. So I'm kicking off on my end. And we're live.
Maybe a little closer to the mic because mine is a bit low.
All right.
But that's okay.
Now, this is the best part is that, having a audio video specialist.
Oh, well. That's what I do for a living.
I appreciate having you come in and be like, well, let's look at this rig.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Before we get too deep in, because we are going to go deep as we always do.
Sure.
Whenever we get conversating. Just let me shout out to the people that right now we've got Thomas Blondet here at Eaton Radio, and I've known Thomas now for a hot second. He's a neighbor, a friend, a DJ, a producer that I've looked up to for a while. If you don't know about Rhythm and Culture, his label, we're going to get into that, but it is worth checking out. And the best part about this is that it seems like an unlikely source. A soulful house DJ with a drum and bass story. So we're totally going to get into this. So no worries. And I'm so excited to dive into it and to just see what sort of chaos comes out of this. And yeah, man, thank you so much for coming in, for coming to spend the time with us here at Eaton Radio. I was just
trying to adjust the camera for you so your head's not.
This is the best part, is that he's been critiquing and watching these shows too, and so he knows the platform.
Maybe I should get out of your shot. I'm in your shot now. I'm in your shot.
Okay, so it's gonna be full of everything tonight, kids. So let's get right into this, shall we?
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming out, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
So, where does I want to get into the background of how you got into DJing first, and then we can get into D&B and DC stories. But you came around, like you born in Queens, went to Florida.
I was actually born in Florida.
Oh, I thought you were born
in Gainesville, Florida.
Okay, sorry.
But the day after I was born, we went to New York.
Okay. Okay, so I wasn't fully off, but I was off. So, all right. So tell me about growing up, your musical influences, and like, what is the first time that you heard music and you remember it, and you, as a source, that you were like, oh, like I like this.
Oh, well, electronic music or just music in general? Just
music. Let's start with music in general. We'll get into electronic
I think
later.
when I was like very, very young, my mom and my sister said that I liked Macho Man. The song, Macho Man.
Okay.
They said, you would go crazy jumping up and down in your, whatever that thing was that kids roll around in before they can walk.
Yeah.
So,
I can't think
and then my brother was upset because it was a disco song. Mm-hmm. And he was into, classic rock at the time. So, so you can imagine. But, I think like, but not just music, but also like the technology of it, and like I was like recording stuff on the radio, like songs that I liked. Mm-hmm. So that was like the early stuff that I was doing. I just like right away I was like, oh wow, what's this? Oh, I can record it. I like this song, and then I'm gonna go listen to it later. So I think I first started mostly, just recording music off the radio.
Okay.
I know I went from like infant to like older.
But that's okay.
Yeah. But, I was influenced by my brother, who was, he was heavily into classic rock, so I was exposed to all of that at a very young age. And vinyl, and he had all the covers, of all the records, sort of like what you have here, like all over his bedroom.
Okay.
So when he wasn't there, 3 or 4 years old, I'm like, what's this? Mm-hmm. Scratching all his records and playing them, destroying, original Led Zeppelin albums and, all the classics from that, the 70s. So, but yeah, that's a lot of the stuff that I got into early.
Okay.
And then I started hearing like electronic music a little bit here and there.
Okay.
You know, living in New York, that stuff was like all over the radio. You know, so the radio was like the main thing for me. Like I wasn't old enough to go to clubs or, you know, get exposed in that way. But I got exposed to most of the music off of New York radio.
Awesome. Okay.
As a, you know, up to like 10 or 11. And then we moved to South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got exposed even more because down in South Florida, Power 96 was like the big radio station in the 80s. And they had like DJ Laz playing Miami bass and like all like electronic music, you know, Egyptian Lover, Planet Rock, all that stuff that, you know, I heard that on the radio first.
Wow.
You know, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they had their DJ shows, mix shows at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that? What is he doing? Mixing? Scratching? This is cool.
It's funny that, like, I remember the first time that I heard scratching on my end, and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't identify the sound. And it wasn't until, like, way later, and, like, lots of people talk about it, seeing it on MTV and all that. Like, my first time really seeing it, I don't think I could identify it, except it might have been, like, a Fruity Pebbles commercial.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was like, and so you had, like, it was like, oh, that's the sound.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so it's supposed to be a turntable going back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
But it was like, for me, like, I didn't have that exposure, but it was like, I remember all of a sudden, like, plugging in that one.
But, like, where did you grow up?
Oh, Ohio. Like,
So what were they playing on the radio there in, like, the 80s?
Lots of 80s and 90s, it was hair metal. Like, that
Okay.
that was the dominant force. If it wasn't country, it was hair metal.
Okay.
But I love that you were able to identify that sound early on and knew what it was and had already clued in at that young of an age to DJ culture already.
Yeah. Well, that's thanks to Power 96 for me,
Mm-hmm.
at least, because I think when I moved to Florida was in the 5th grade.
Okay.
So how old were you in the 5th grade? 11, 12?
Yeah, you're like 11, 12.
Yeah. So, you know, I was hearing all this stuff for the first time on the radio down there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see what they're doing. You're just hearing it, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, whoa, what was that? What were they doing? You know, blah, blah, blah. You know, what is that they're doing? You know, who knows? So, anyway, you know, I got more and more interested. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all the kids in school were into it. You know, everybody was listening to Miami bass, hip hop, freestyle. You know, this was all stuff that was very common on the radio down there
Mm-hmm.
back in that 80s. Back in the 80s, you
Back
know,
in that
like,
time period, yeah.
mid late 80s, and that's how we got exposed to it. So, you know, your friends listen to it and like, oh, here's a DJ playing at the school dance.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the guy's name, but he used to play a lot of Miami bass and like electronic music. So, you know, we're like, oh wow, this is like really interesting. This is kind of like what he's doing, DJ Laz, on the radio, right?
Okay.
So, you know, then 6th grade comes, and then one of my friends like ends up getting 2 turntables and a DJ mixer, like 2 Technique 1200s, like a proper DJ setup,
Wow. That's awesome.
and invites us over. And it was a bunch of us there, and we're like, oh, this is how you scratch. You got to do it like this. And like, we literally all stood in a line, right? And taking turns. And it was like, oh, you try it now. You know, so he tries it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the next, and it's my turn. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I go up there. Oh, wait, maybe you do have a little, I did a little better than everybody else. Like, you know, I've never done this before, but a little bit better, you know. I'm not like that I was doing anything crazy, but I kind of got like the basics. I understood that like right away. And it just clicked to me. It
That's
clicked with
awesome.
me. So that's when 6th grade was when I first like actually touched a real like Technique 1200 and
Wow.
vinyl and all that stuff. And that was like in, you know, in the late 80s. then, I was so obsessed with it. I started buying records. I didn't have any money. My mom was not going to buy me a, two Technique 1200s and a mixer back then. It was over a couple $1,000. Like, you're a kid.
Yeah.
You like a skateboard one day, you like a bicycle the next day, you like Nintendo, and you like DJing now. You're going to get over it right away. So she was like, this is a little phase he's going through. And then in the 8th grade, my next door neighbor his family owned a Chinese food restaurant.
Okay.
And I got a job there doing dishes.
Nice.
And I bought my first Technique 1200 with that money. So, and vinyl, you're buying records.
Yeah.
And there was a record store in Miami that we used to go to called Car Jewel Records.
Okay.
It was a record store and a barbershop.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you could go there, get a haircut, and get like the best records, So I don't know. I think like moving into like the 8th grade, 9th grade years. So that was probably like really like late 90s. And my family moved to New York, and I stayed in South Florida with my grandparents. So
was that to finish out school or
just to finish school? And I was like more acquainted and comfortable, established down there, and I didn't want to move. So my grandparents like, stay with us. So my mom moves to New York, and I'm going back and forth. I'm going to record stores in New York. My brother's taking me to record stores in New York.
Wow.
What's the new hot shit? Like you ask the guy that works at the record store, what's the dope shit right now? What's the, what's good? And, back then, like some record stores let you preview records.
Yeah.
And if they did, they might have like one copy opened, but they would have to play it for you.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Like I could fast forward, 12-inch dance records in DC.
Yeah.
You could go in and, you'd have to give them your ID, and then you could listen to whatever you wanted, because they always had like one record that was available to preview. But anyway, so they would suggest records. We wouldn't hear it. I would just take their word for it.
Yeah.
And, majority of the time, like, especially in New York, it was all house music.
Makes sense.
Right? So now I'm like getting house music from New York. I got a little hip hop too, but I was more into, electronic music. So house music, drew me, I was more drawn to that than hip hop. And then I was going to South Florida, getting Miami bass, freestyle in New York, because freestyle is big in New York too.
Yeah.
So I just had like this crazy collection and influences of like freestyle, Miami bass, house music. Loved it. So then we moved here, my 10th grade year.
Okay.
So they were like, you coming back with us. You ain't staying in Florida no more. So big culture shock moving to Centerville, Virginia in 1991.
Wow.
From South Florida and New York.
That would be.
I was the only DJ in the school. There was like one other guy. I think his name was Robbie. And he mostly played hip hop.
Okay.
So, but he was the only one. Anyway, then, I did DJ'd some house parties, and then like I was kind of like forced to play hip hop because everybody wanted hip hop. So, and I was like the only DJ there, so I had to play hip hop, So, but I always had my house music,
okay.
And, that was always very interesting.
And sorry, when was that timestamp when you landed in Centerville?
91.
Okay.
91.
Okay. Wow.
And I was like, I hate it here. There's nowhere to buy records. Where am I going to buy records around here? I have to go to New York, and I have to go back to Miami to get records.
Okay.
And then my mom asked some priest at the Croatian Catholic Church here in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And he says, tell your son to go and get records at 12-inch dance records in DuPont Circle.
I love it.
So
So-
I found out about
so-
12-inch dance records from a Croatian Catholic priest that referred 12-inch dance records to my mom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you first rolled in there for the first time?
You know, I don't remember exactly, because I went there so many times,
Fair.
but I could tell you, I remember Sam Burns, like from the beginning, he was one of the more nicer guys in there.
Yeah.
And, being 16 years old, going into a record store, a lot of them are established DJs already and they play in the club scene. And I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
I'm just there to buy records. They had this thing at 12-inch dance records where the DJs there would make like mixtapes of like new records that are out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to like listen to it, they had a little Walkman with a tape with all the names of the songs. And it was like, you can either sit here. There was like a little bench, like kind of like what we're sitting on now, like in the corner, and go and sit down over there with these little Walkman headphones and a tape and
That's bonkers.
listen to it and then see which songs that you like, because they wrote it down. Like,
Yeah, but that's also kind of ingenious because
oh, yeah.
now they've got you trapped.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Well, a trip to the record store to 12-inch, at least for me, it wasn't like a quick drive-by.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, you were there.
you're there, and then you got to deal with parking, and you have to run back out and throw quarters in the meter every so often. But I remember like one of the main things of, one of the beginning, I just, it was just so awesome, like going there, and they had like disco balls and lights. They had a DJ booth in there. DJs always playing like new music, and it was expensive. Mm-hmm. I remember that. Resh, he was the owner. It was expensive, but as I got more and more into it and a little bit older, I started realizing, like, I got so into it that I was like, when do you guys get your deliveries? Mm-hmm. So Tuesday was domestic. Wednesday I think was domestic. No, I don't know. Either, maybe I got them mixed up. But either way, it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic, import. Right? New releases. I used to go specifically for imports.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was always like really good mixes on there, hard to find mixes, stuff that you wouldn't find on like the regular domestic version. They always had some like extended edit or extended remix or a mix that was on the import that wasn't on the domestic version. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. And of course, imported records were more money.
Yeah.
So you have to take that into...
And this is like the 90, you're still like 91, 93 kind of era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
91,
okay.
92.
So then like we're talking, what's your import cost at this point? Like
For a single.
Yeah, for a single.
Not album.
Yeah.
A single was like $20.
Okay.
And there might be just like one cut on there that you wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't like every track on there was dope.
Yeah.
Especially imports, there were some labels called, there was this label called ZYX. They used to put out a lot of cheesy stuff, like some Euro, high energy stuff. But there'd be like a dub on there, like a deep house dub, like on the back. And you're like, oh, this is dope.
Awesome.
So, but, very fond memories of 12-inch dance records and Sam Burns specifically,
Yeah.
I made friends with other people in there, with other staff, but Sam always stuck out. He was very supportive to local DJs or just other people that love music.
Yeah. No, he could very quickly identify who was in it for the love.
Yeah.
And was always a bit of an interesting guiding force.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to put him.
I agree. So, eventually I started DJing there too.
Nice.
Right? And they had this thing on Saturdays where you could come and DJ in 12-inch dance records.
Nice.
And I don't know, maybe play like a 3-hour set, 4-hour set, and you'd get like $100 in store credit.
Oh, man, where's that right now?
It's like no brainer, right?
Yeah.
Like
Done.
And being in high school and stuff like that was such a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Such a because that's expensive for a kid in high school with no job. So, but anyway, I really like that. That was really awesome.
When did 12-inch shut down? Because I know that it was, I feel like it was around when I first came into DC around 2002, and or it had shut down recently.
I don't.
The reason why I ask is because I never made it there. I know friends that had gone and had spent a great amount of time and money there. But for some reason I never ended up making it there. And so it was always kind of like this question in my head of like, when did that actually fade off into...
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember the year that they shut down.
Okay.
I don't. But I know, maybe like early 2000s.
Okay.
I want to say. I don't know.
And now in DC, in that time period that we're talking here, though, like, was it... I've got such weird, like, timestamps in here, but it was like around 97 to 2000 in that area. I felt like every little store had a DJ booth set up, but there were lots of boutiques.
Well, there
were
was
like pushing club culture.
Yeah, like
especially like throughout Georgetown.
Well, I mean, we're jumping all over the place in time periods, but there was Music Now.
That's right.
So Music Now was on F Street back then, in a little basement downstairs, and they catered more to like the rave culture of music, not like the traditional, like house music that like Sam Burns was playing and like other, DJs. And, it was more, I think it was owned by Levin, who did Buzz back then with Scott Henry. And, they had a DJ booth. They were DJing in there. They always had very eclectic selection too, compared to 12-inch, 12-inch dance records. And, 12-inch had a lot of really good, amazing tunes, but all the DJs worked there.
Yeah.
So if there was like 1 or 2 copies, they were taking it first.
Of course.
Yeah. That's why Sam had all the dope shit back then, So... Anyway, we would be, that's why I used to know the delivery, because it got to the point where I was like, these guys are getting this stuff before I am. Mm-hmm. I got to get there first. How can I get in there before they, because these guys were, they'd get the delivery. I knew when the UPS truck was coming. I knew when FedEx was coming,
You were an addict.
But, more importantly, like not just an addict, but like I really had this addiction to play new music and break new music to people.
Mm-hmm. Now at this time, were you playing out, or was it more the like?
Well, I know, because we just skipped around like a bunch of years. I'm not going through like a perfect timeline or anything, but once I started playing, I think my first like real gig was at the Down Under Club.
Okay.
And I think I was like 17. And Saeed Yunan booked me to play. So I met him from like his cousin.
Okay.
And they brought me some house party that Saeed was playing at. And he let me play for a little bit. And he was like, oh, dude, you got to come and play in DC. And I'm like, I'm not even old enough to do that yet, So that was interesting about that. But I played at the Down Under Club. It's like down the street from here.
Yeah.
Right down K Street. I don't know if you know what that is.
I remember. Actually, yes. No, I can pinpoint where it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like right down there.
Yeah.
I can show you after we leave. But anyway, yeah. So you know, I'm not going through a perfect timeline here,
That's all
so
good.
things are all over the place. But you know, that was like my first gig. I think I was like 17 years old. Then I started playing like little gigs like here and there. You know, I was giving my tapes out like people at Tracks, Fifth Column, the what is it? It was the Vault next door to Fifth Column.
Yeah.
Then there was I mean, there were so many different venues, you know, back then. These are the ones that stick out to me. But one of the things I used to do the most back then was I used to give them a lot of my tapes to like the dancers at Tracks.
Yeah.
There was always like these circles in front of the DJ booth at Tracks. Like, I don't know if you know Tracks,
Oh yeah.
if you've been there, but like huge venue, huge DJ booth, up high, away from everybody. You know, dark, you can't see the guy in there, the DJ, who was Eric Patton at the time. This was like probably like 94,
Okay.
you know, and he was playing like that was like just like that was just like the timing of that was just like so perfect with that time period of house. Like, he was such a good DJ. Like, everybody's like, oh my god, Eric Patton is like so awesome. Like, dude, like the vibe on the dance floor in that place was like crazy. But in all fairness, like that era of house music that was coming out,
Yeah.
you know, in 94, 95, I mean, hands down. I mean, like, he had the best record selection, you know, and I became friends with Eric too. And he was getting promos from Strictly Rhythm, from, you know, all these like well-known record labels all over the world. So he was breaking stuff, because I would run to the booth and I'm like, where did you get this? How, this is not even, is this out? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, I didn't even know what a promo was. I just thought music came out, you know, like, because I
Fair.
was so
Yeah, yeah.
young, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh wow, you know, they're playing, you know, some stuff I haven't heard. And I go to the booth and I see it was like a Strictly Rhythm label, like white sticker, and just they wrote in the name with a pen. I was like, what the heck is that? You know? So, Philip DeHazian, he's saying Sunday nights at Tracks. That was, what's his name's Sidra, or what was his name? Who played on Sunday nights at Tracks? I didn't frequent there that much on Sundays, but I used to go. I went there a couple times. I forgot the DJ's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But
Be careful. My wife will probably text in and give you the answer.
oh, good. I need
It's actually
that.
funny. That's why I was like double checking. I was like,
Oh, okay.
is anyone on the other end like in the chat? But hey.
But he still DJs, the guy that Philip was talking about.
Nice.
But anyway, you know, we used to go. You know, we would frequent Tracks on like Thursdays and Fridays. You know, and Thursdays was kind of like Eric Patton played Thursday and Friday at the time. And on Thursday, he would play more raver-ish.
Okay.
I don't even want to know. I don't know what the term of it.
Electronic.
Yeah, more electronic, breakbeat, you know, stuff. But it wasn't the same stuff he was playing on Friday nights. Friday nights was like house night.
Okay.
You know, they were playing like Latin house, like all the classic, like Masters at Work, Crystal Waters, you know, all the classic songs. Like, they just came out like in that era. And he was the main DJ at that time. Like, it was like the timing for him to be in that position, playing that music at that time was like perfect. And he was a good DJ too. I mean, he could mix.
Yeah.
He was a great mixer. So, yo, Colin Campbell. People are hitting me up on there.
Nice.
But, you know, so all these things that was going on during that time period, you know, it was just like perfect timing.
Perfect storm.
And it was also another great place to listen to records for me, right? As a kid, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what's this? I was like writing down stuff. What is
Train
this
spotting.
song? You know, you'd go to the record store on after the weekend, like, they were playing this at Tracks on Friday night. Something with like Raise Your Hands, I Can't Get No Sleep, some kind of song that's like saying like snorting lines again, and you're like, wait, what? And then you're like, oh, Nightcrawler's Pushing the Feeling. And I'm like, what? It's like the way he MK chopped it. Like, people used to say that he was saying like snot and damn lines. Like, people used to say that's what they were saying.
Oh, wow.
Back then.
Okay.
Yeah. At least, people joking around about that or whatever on the dance floor. But, that was a classic tune. I mean, it's a classic track to today.
Yeah.
So it's funny how people interpreted the way he chopped that sample and what people thought it was. I've heard all kinds of different sayings for that song.
And I can't wait to talk about chopping samples later.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get to that.
Oh, yeah, we are. So at this point, we're roughly 94-ish.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And when we were talking previous, when we were all setting this up, you'd mentioned about one of your first tag teams here in DC.
Oh yeah, like we're going back to high school again.
Yeah, let's step back to high school.
Okay, let's go back to high
just
school.
so that we can set that foundation.
So I was dating this girl. It was my senior year at Chantilly. Her name was Lisa, and she was working at Merry-Go-Round.
Okay.
And she knew, obviously that I DJ'd, right? Because everybody used to come to my house, and I DJ little house parties around.
Nice.
We used to play my mixtapes at lunchtime in Chantilly. Can you imagine house music in the 90s being played in the Chantilly high school lunchroom?
That's kind of awesome.
Right? That's weird. I loved it. My friend William, shout out to William for playing those tapes in Chantilly high school. But anyway, yeah, so she's like, my manager at Merry-Go-Round, he's a DJ too. He's having a party on Friday. I told him about you. Bring some records and you can play too.
Nice.
And back then I was down to do whatever, 17, I'm down to DJ work, let's go. So she brought me there and introduced me to Thai T.
Awesome.
Right? And then we're hanging out. They're playing records. This is my brother, Daniel, a.k.a. DJ Slant. Right? I don't even think his name was Slant yet. And then they were the ones that, well, we did a back-to-back set, me and Slant, until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, like who knows what time. And that's how him and I, made friends. But he was playing, I think, like more like breakbeat type stuff at the time. I was playing more house, but we were able to work with each other before he started playing like drum and bass and everything like that, as far as like tag teaming.
Nice.
But that's how I met them. And they had actually told me about like the rave scene and the rave culture, and like, Thai T was like, man, the rave scene is so cool. Everybody's super nice. The DJs are nice. The scene is nice. It's not as like, I don't know, like, like the club scene's a little bit more like, tough to get your foot in the door as a DJ.
Okay.
So he was like, you should start trying to play some raves and stuff like that. I didn't even know what he was talking about.
That's awesome. Okay.
So, I found out about the rave culture from them and rave scene from them. Like, I was already DJing. I had never been to a rave. I had never been to a club. I only heard DJing on the radio. That's how I started.
Okay.
So when everybody's like, oh man, I hear stories like, oh man, I walked into this club or this rave and I saw the DJ and I knew this is what I wanted to do. I never knew that. I heard it on the radio and I was like, I want to do that, but I never seen it. I never seen DJs playing in a club or out in a rave or whatever, But then I started going out and I started, hey, there's a party called Buzz on Friday. You got to check it out. So I went and checked out Buzz. Scott Henry's playing, all these people, Boggle. I mean, like DJs that I never even heard of. I never even heard most of that music.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was like I got introduced to the rave scene and the club scene from the music, not the other way around. Like usually people get introduced to the music from going to the club or going to a rave.
Yeah.
It was the opposite for me.
That's wild.
Right? Like I found out about the raves because I was DJing, electronic music. I'm like, oh, we can go there and play music. Oh, you can go there and DJ like at a club. Oh, cool. So anyway, that was like that was like 94,
Okay.
95. And I met Saeed around that time period. From Saeed, I met Rob Garza from Thievery Corporation, where Saeed and Rob were a duo. They were called Juju Thievery.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they had their first record out where they put it out themselves. They sampled Pasta Dutchie. It's a pretty cheesy song, but it was cool that I personally knew somebody that put out a record. Did I play it? No.
But still.
But I was like, I had a copy and I was like, cool. I know somebody that made a record.
That's an interesting notion, because like now you're like, you did a thing and I physically have a copy of it, and you've taken on that energy now.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay. All right.
So yeah, they were producing stuff for a while. And that's when I first started getting a little interested in music production, was because Saeed had a little studio too.
Okay.
At his house, at his parents' basement in Tyson's Corner. So I saw some of that. We tried to collaborate on a couple things. Nothing really came out of it. But I will give a shout out to Saeed for giving me one of my, my first like club gig.
Nice.
So yeah, then moving further after that, then I started playing at like, I was giving my tapes out to everybody. Like I gave my tapes to the Pollen crew. They were doing a party at the Edge in Southeast DC, which was right around the block.
Yeah.
From Buzz and Trax. Right. And they were doing a Wednesday night party, and they had like one room was house. Sam Burns, he was the resident DJ. They had a patio that in the summertime where they were either playing like drum and bass or jungle. It was more jungle at that time, probably. And I think that was kind of like, Pollen was like the era where it was like jungle, jump up, drum and bass. Like it just like you saw that happen there, and Buzz too. And they booked me there. The guys that did Pollen, Chris Styles, Cena, and Pagemon, and Jimmy Gioni. Shout out to the Pollen crew. So they gave me my first like residency.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the time, that was like kind of like when I started getting into Speed Garage.
You'd mentioned this. So like, what was the Speed Garage scene like here in DC?
I mean, there wasn't one.
Okay.
It was just kind of like part of like the rave scene.
All right.
Kind of, right? So Pollen was kind of raver-ish, right? Like they had like their rave crowd in there on Wednesdays, and I was playing Speed Garage there.
Okay.
And and obviously house too.
Yeah.
You can't play it all night, but I started getting known in DC for Speed Garage.
Interesting. Okay.
So nobody else was like doing it at the time. Now we're probably like fast forwarding to a little bit more like late 90s.
Okay.
And like Armand Van Helden was putting out a bunch of stuff and all that. And then Buzz called.
He had that like Tori Amos track, Professional Widow remix. Yeah.
And Spin Sugar.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. And I could go on and on.
Those were the first two records I ever learned how to mix on.
Oh wow. Okay.
I still have them.
Okay. Those are good.
They are.
Those are good. And what else? There was some label with like an ice cream on it, ice cream cone. There was another loop de loop. There was like so many different producers doing speaker arts. Obviously UK, and it was all. It had like this this jungle appeal to it, like jungle bass lines with like garage house beats and reggae samples. Rewind, like all that stuff was in there, and the time stretched vocals, So, and that was a lot of fun, and I remember playing there at Pollen, playing at Buzz, the Catastrophic guys. They used to do the Catastrophic raves, who their claim is, and I wouldn't even say their claim, but I think they were the first ones to throw raves in the DC area.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So they were before Buzz.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think they were going to actually do Nation. They were going to do Nation, and they were throwing like these like illegal raves in Maryland, and they got busted, and like their dad got in trouble for it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And they were like, these parties are so big and everybody's coming, like maybe we should do it at this place, Nation. And Nation was like, yeah, let's do it. This is what they told me.
Okay.
Giovanni told me this. Giovanni from Catastrophic. And he says, oh dude, we had Nation, but Scott Henry from Buzz like came over there and was like, dude, you sure you want to mess with these guys? They just got in big trouble doing illegal raves out in Maryland, and there's like investigation on them. There was like, it was like on the news. There was like newspaper stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
like, it was like
not just like your news at 5. Like this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they got in big trouble. They were throwing illegal raves. Everybody knows what goes on at raves. Like, and then it's illegal, like where they're doing it. Like they probably did it in a random warehouse. Like didn't have permits and, all that stuff and whatever else is going on at a rave, So they got in a little trouble. I think their dad did, because their dad was the one like renting the warehouse or whatever, so it was under their dad's name.
Oh, crazy.
So anyway, apparently, they told Nation, like, look, you don't want to work with them. They're in trouble. Look at the newspaper ads about, look at the new headlines on the newspaper about them. So, of course, Nation was like, no.
Yeah.
And then here's Buzz.
And a legend was born in that regard, too. Just stepping into that void.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, they were doing a party called Deep in DuPont Circle.
Okay.
Forgot the name of the venue, but it was over there in DuPont. It had like 3 levels, and they had like trance, house, and sometimes hip hop or drum and bass, like in the basement. So they did all kinds of cool.
Was it kind of like a catacomb almost in the basement? Or is that a different venue I'm thinking of?
What do you mean?
It was like it felt very much like an old dark ass basement. It had a bit of more brickwork.
Well, there was 3 levels.
No,
do you remember the 2 other levels on the top?
Yeah, vaguely remember the 2 of the other levels.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was dark. They even had like a little stage down there, I think, too.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and then that party went on, and that was, like the scene was like so healthy at the time. And simultaneously, like while all this is going on, Sam Burns has his Sunday night, the Underground Soul Solution going on.
Yeah.
At the time was State of the Union.
Forgot that's what it was called. Yeah.
And Sunday nights was just like a different thing that was going on compared to the other clubs that was going on in venues in DC.
How so?
Well, first off, everybody went there to dance.
Okay.
Everyone. And it was Sunday night, So it wasn't like the Friday and Saturday night crowd. Like, even at Buzz, it was like this plur thing going on. But, you had the hotheads coming in to Buzz too.
Yeah.
You know, there was people in there that had like no reason to be there. Like, you know, like, guys, you don't get what's going on here. Like, you're not here for the music. You're not here. Like, well, what are you doing here? You know, like, there's a sports bar down the street. You know, like, go there. So, you know, but Sundays was like, I would say like the more mature crowd of the entire scene, right? Like, that was like more connected with the music, and they would just dance all night. And Sam was just playing like soulful house, like vocal soulful house. I mean, sometimes even for me, I was like, man, this is like, you know, gospel music. You know, it was like real, but it was house.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody was dancing, like just a good vibe, good energy. Everybody there was just there to get down. You know, I mean, I remember one of my next door neighbors in Chantilly. I'm like, oh, this guy, I'm like, dude, you don't want to come with me on a Sunday here. Like, I don't think you're going to understand, you know. And he's like typical, like, you know, college, like white guy, like with the hat that's like curved, you know, like, you know, VT, Virginia Tech. And he was like, I want to go. I'm like, all right, come on. Scott Worthington, rest in peace. He passed away a while ago.
Oh man.
But I took him there, and he don't know nothing about house music, and, you know, maybe from what he saw at my house, but you know, nothing about like the scene and the culture, you know. And oh yeah, Felipe is saying Sam also used to do Sunday night set at the Roxy late 80s. That's correct, but that's before my time. So I wouldn't know. But yeah, so, you know, I brought Scott to Sam's night, and, you know, we went there, and it was like a Sunday night.
Yeah.
He's like starting to move around and everything, and I'm like, oh, okay. Dude, by the end of the night, this guy was in the middle of the dance floor, in the circle, getting down with everybody.
Wow.
You know, and like that was like a moment where I was like, man, like, there's something else going on here. I mean, you can get somebody like from the suburbs to come here who's not into this music or scene or any, like, doesn't know anything about it. And he really, I could tell he got touched by it, you know? So there was stuff that Sam was doing that I don't think other DJs were doing in the town.
Okay.
With house music.
Yeah.
You know? I've been talking about Sam a lot, you know?
I mean, he had an oversized imprint on DC and DC sound.
Oh, yeah. You know, Sam being like one of the first people that like I met too, like in the scene, you know, because of the record store. I remember when I played for the first time at Pollen, he came.
Really? Wow.
He came. He's like, I'm going to come support you for your first gig. I'll never forget that.
Dude, that must have meant a shit ton.
Yeah, it still does.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it still does. So, you know, when I think back on that, you know, somebody that you look up to, I mean, like, I honestly, now that I really think about it, when I first moved here, when I was 16, I heard of Sam Burns on, I think it was like 10 something. It was like 105.9 or something. It was in Baltimore Channel.
Interesting.
And I could barely get it in Centerville. Barely. But I knew on Sunday nights he used to play or on Saturday, he would play on the radio. So that's how I figured out who he was, you know, like, and then meeting him at the record store. He used to do this radio station in Baltimore.
Crazy.
Barely got it in Centerville. It's like 105.9.
Okay.
It's like a smooth jazz station. Or I don't know what it is now. I think now, who knows what it is, like talk radio or something. And, but anyway, you know, him like doing like, it wasn't just something that he brought out as a DJ and playing. Like, it was also like, you know, his life was like that. Like, he was just like a nice person too. Yeah. And it showed through his music when he DJ'd as well, you know. Nice. Very good mentor for me and for, you know, I think every DJ in DC. I mean, like, if you mention DC house music or electronic music, like, you cannot say his name.
No.
Which, shame on Deep Dish for not saying anything about them in their latest interview that I saw on YouTube. But, you know, I won't get into that. I love Shahram Ali.
So, I want to touch on Burns for just a brief moment more before we move on, because as you start producing, you'd made a comment that when the test, you know, like your mental test of it is like, would he play this out?
Oh, yeah.
You know, in a night, and or how much it meant when he would actually play one of your tunes.
Oh, yeah.
In an evening. But when at this point, like moving forward, like when did you actually start producing in a serious way?
Well, I have a story. That's another story.
Then let's get into it. I
You
mean,
know.
it's us.
So,
Man. Come
okay,
on.
so-
we're gonna go everywhere.
You know. Oh, Felipe said that he was using a fake ID to check Sam play back in the 80s.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was still too young in the 80s. I don't even think a fake ID would have, you know, I don't think I could even have an ID at that time. You know, I was that young. But anyway, you know, from all this stuff going on, you know, I started playing at Red,
Okay.
you know, that's how I met like Fareed from 18th Street Lounge and Red, and they owned Open Dragonfly later too. And Red, everybody from 18th Street Lounge used to come over to Red once Red closed, right?
Yeah.
And 18th Street Lounge, you know, back then that was the home of, you know, where Thievery Corporation had their studio, you know, in the back of 18th Street Lounge, which also, being like young and naive, you know, I was like, oh, they have a studio in the back. Like, doesn't every club have that? Like, I didn't realize, like, you know, when I think back on it now, I'm like, wow, that was amazing. You know, like there's no other places like doing stuff like that, you know, probably even to this day. Maybe some places, you know, but not like that, you know. But I don't know, just like at the time it was like, oh yeah, they have a record label in the back and they have records here. You want a record? You want a CD? You know, there's a studio back there. They're making tracks. And I'm like, awesome. Oh, and they own the club too, and they own Red. So they would have studio sessions, come over to Red after, you know.
Wow. Okay.
Dance all night, everyone's having fun. And then I ended up making good friends with Desmond Williams, who was their engineer.
Okay.
And just like one day he's like, dude, I'm looking for a protege, just like out of nowhere. I'm like, all right, who you thinking about? You. And I'm like,
Dude, that's huge.
oh, okay, so you want me to start getting in the studio with you and you want to show me the ropes and everything? He's like, yeah.
Wow.
You know, but I think, you know, it was more than just like, hey, you know, I think they saw me, you know, as a DJ, you know, I played house music, you know, I think they thought that I was probably a good DJ or something, you know, maybe that I fit that position well in their eyes, you know.
Now, had you been DJing for the 18th Street Lounge at this point?
No,
Okay.
only Red.
Okay.
Only Red. I didn't start DJing at ESL at 18th Street Lounge until Red closed.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail, but
No.
okay.
So that's how I got into music production. You know,
Okay.
it was from Desmond Williams. He really opened the door for that. You know, I was dabbling, but, you know, I wasn't like finishing tracks, you know. I was dabbling, you know. But once I met Desmond, that's when things, you know, once he started showing me some stuff, then things started clicking together. And, you know, I started learning more engineering, arrangement, effects, you know, all the above,
Okay.
you know. So that's when I started getting into music production. I'd say that was probably around like 2000.
Okay.
Yeah. So it started then. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what was production like at that point for you? Like, was it in the box? Was it synths and drum machines? Or like, what was...
So Desmond, he actually learn engineering from scientists.
Like,
Yes.
fuck.
The dub
Yeah.
master.
Which that also then makes sense for what is going to happen later on, but continue.
Yeah. So, you know, they were really into technology.
Mm-hmm.
They were really into computers. Desmond was really into like PCs,
Okay.
and he was using Sonar
Really?
and Acid Pro,
Huh.
right? And I was like, why are these guys like? I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I just figured, I'm like, you know, it's 2000. You know, everyone's probably using computers now to make music, not traditionally with drum machines and all that stuff like before.
Mm-hmm.
So they got into that. He was the one. He was using everything in the box, pretty much.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, everybody has outboard gear. I mean, it was 2000, so
Yeah.
you know, of course, you know, he had like tons of outboard gear, but the main hub was Sonar, Cakewalk Sonar.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I you know, that's where I first started learning in Cakewalk Sonar.
And what was your first release?
My first release was on East Coast Boogeymen's record label, Odds and Ends.
Really? Okay.
And I did a track with Apple.
Rocher.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And what was it called? I can't remember right now.
I'm going to have to go into Discogs. And
But
find
she
that
was
out.
saying vocals in it like Deep Into Me.
Okay.
I think that's what it was called.
Hmm.
Into Me or Deep Into Me. I can't believe it. I can't remember the name of one of my songs. Isn't that amazing? So that was my first release.
Wow.
Was on Odds and Ends on East Coast Boogeymen's label.
Hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Ken and Juan and
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah. Thanks for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll never forget that about them too. It's my first vinyl.
Hmm.
That was exciting. When you see your first record with your name on it.
God, it's got to be insane.
Yeah. And my girlfriend at the time, I don't know where she was, but she was somewhere. And I was like, Ken or somebody was there. And I'm like, can you grab these records from Ken? Because it's my new record.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know where she was. I don't know. I don't even remember why, but she had it.
Hmm.
She's like, I got the record for you. And it was like a test press weight. You know, it was just a test pressing.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that was my first one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then...
And it was the house track.
I kind of assumed.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So then moving from there, when did rhythm and culture become a thing? Or is that too far of a jump?
Oh, Rhythm and Culture was a record store on P Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on like 22nd and P. Do you know where like the Soho coffee shop is?
Yes.
You know where the fireplace is?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So right across the street from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I'm just like fiddling around with this. What is this, like old?
Looks like you've got a delay.
Is that a big delay right there? Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that? Okay, so it was a record store that was started by Pakadi,
Okay.
Fareed from 18th Street Lounge,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Hilton from Thievery Corporation
Okay.
and 18th Street Lounge, and Yama, who was one of the owners of 18th Street Lounge. It was pretty much the owners of 18th Street Lounge
Mm-hmm.
invested into Rhythm and Culture, which was Ooh's record store. Ooh was another DJ that played at Red and 18th Street Lounge and all that stuff.
Okay.
So they opened up this record store in the early 2000s that was very eclectic, right? So let's keep in mind 12-inch Dance Records is down the block.
Mm-hmm.
And it may have been DJ Hut at that time.
Wow.
12-inch Dance Records. I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of, no, the whole era is kind of blurry to me. But Music Now,
Mm-hmm.
that was on F Street, it later moved to Georgetown on M Street.
Okay.
That was Music Now.
Okay.
Then Deep Dish Boys, Ali and Sharam, they bought Music Now and turned it into Yoshitoshi.
Interesting. Okay.
So Leavin from Buzz used to own Music Now. And I guess and their Buzz office was next door.
Wow. Okay.
And then on top of Buzz office was Deep Dish Records office, Yoshitoshi Records, right? And when they did all this stuff, you know, why do we need another record store? Rhythm and Culture comes and they're playing, they have like this eclectic sound that's kind of like this Thievery Corporation, down tempo, mid tempo stuff. Like Zeb was coming on their record labels like Kodak.
Yep.
I mean, Organic Grooves. Are you familiar with any of that stuff?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, it was very, very eclectic electronic music, down tempo, mid tempo. Like, I even worked there for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
on Mondays. So that's how I got even more familiar with like this sound and everything that they were, you know, that they were doing. And, you know, obviously, like, you know, all the ESL stuff was in there, the ESL stuff, the 18th Street Lounge music stuff. I mean, that was such a big label
Yeah.
back then. I mean, they were releasing so much eclectic stuff. I mean, their stuff was selling literally like hotcakes out of that place. And they had shirts and merchandise, and Thievery stuff was just like hot,
Yeah.
you know, back then. And they still are. But that era was just like, wow. So anyway, Desmond, who was engineering for Thievery, was on tour with Thievery, like in Europe or something. Something happened in Germany or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We won't go into the details, but they kicked him off the tour and they fired him as their engineer.
Okay.
So he comes back. He's all upset. I need to do something, blah, 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 blah. So Fareed and Oo were like, well, why don't we start our own record label and we'll name it Rhythm and Culture after the store, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yoshitoshi has a record store, you know, they have a record label, you know. So this record store is going to have a record label. So that's how we started Rhythm and Culture.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And like Desmond was the engineer for all of us, right? Then other things went along and happened, and, you know, Desmond went off and did his own thing, you know. So we parted ways with Desmond, and then next, you know, I'm the engineer, you know, and then I was releasing stuff on Rhythm and Culture. Fareed was releasing stuff. We had Kid Gusto was releasing stuff. I don't know if you guys know Kid Gusto from True Grooves. Then Second Sky later came along from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then we were releasing their stuff. Brown Tempo was Phil Brooks, who was formerly Avatars of Dub on ESL's label. So, you know, it wasn't like we had like a huge record label, but, you know, we had a lot of artists and we were doing eclectic stuff too. It wasn't like just strictly house or strictly down tempo or mid tempo stuff. It was just, you know, we were doing a lot of eclectic stuff too. So it stuck out a little bit more than other labels because it was just like, oh my gosh, everyone's doing house music, you know, like everybody's doing this. And nobody was like really doing like down tempo, like lounge type stuff. Like they were, obviously, but it wasn't as oversaturated as like house music.
Fair.
And drum and bass, sorry to say, but you know, and
But I mean, DC had a particular saturation. You didn't see that much anywhere else in the U.S.
you didn't know.
I'm gonna put a pin in that one.
No, I agree.
I mean, it was
agree.
one of the selling points in getting me here. So I was like, oh, I can have drum and bass all the time and not just every once in a while.
Right. So, that's how rhythm and culture started.
Yeah.
And then, we continued it, and, Fareed and I continued it. The record store ultimately shut down, like every record store.
Yeah.
Like every record store. And, but we continued to release music on it. And, I started releasing stuff by Second Sky, and I was mixing and mastering their stuff too.
That's awesome.
And then I think maybe around 2010,
Okay.
ESL Music picked us up as like a sister label.
Wow.
Yeah. So now we were like a sub label to ESL Music. And there was a couple other labels too, I think, doing it too. I think Fort Knox maybe did a little. I think maybe Nicodemus, Wonder Wheel Records. I think maybe they did a little bit. It's like a lot of stuff to go over at once.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot of great lines in there too.
But I mean, like, none of this stuff is like obviously like online. Like, oh, let me look up like when Wonder Wheel was distributed by ESL, or it's just, these are just things that,
it's inside baseball.
yeah, it's just the music business, and is just,
So now ESL's absorbed you.
yeah.
Is this now when you start DJing and starting your career with them? Because you've been with ESL for a hot take.
Okay, well, I started playing at 18th Street Lounge when Red closed.
Yeah.
So, and this is like one of the things too that I think a lot of people here in the, in our scene, in our industry here in DC, in the music DJ culture, and I think is like overlooked, because the loyalty that 18th Street Lounge and Red had for their DJs was unlike any other place, And what do I mean by that?
Yeah, I was
You got
gonna
that
say,
look,
I was
"Oh, what do you
talk to
mean
me
by that?"
about that.
They were, you had a bad night. It was slow. Any other place that I played at, it's like, they blame the DJ. It's your fault. You effed up everything. Nobody's coming. Like, all the clubs, all the venues, lounges, whatever, they always want to blame the DJ for everything. It's not what we did. It's his fault. He's not playing the right stuff, or, they put a lot of pressure on the DJ at a lot of places. And even some place that's like known, like 18th Street Lounge and Red, they never really put that pressure on you. It was more like, do your thing. You have your creative freedom.
Interesting.
Right? And, well, we had a slow night. Weather was bad, dude. Wasn't you. Still did great DJ set. Still played great. Oh, okay. Well, I need to take off for a couple weeks. I'll be back later. Yeah, no problem. Your gig is still here. So, like, when Red closed, any other venue would be like, you're done.
Yeah.
You hear stories about Larry Levan, or like, when the place closed, like, they were done.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah, like, it was done. And they were like, Freed was like, oh, no, you're just going to come DJ at 18th Street Lounge now.
Okay.
Sam Burns, he was doing Sunday nights at Red. Where's Sam going to do his Sunday night at? Oh, you're going to go over to Dragonfly. They kept everybody employed still.
That's awesome.
And that was that was one of the great things about like Fareed and Eric Hilton and that Yama and that crew. I got spoiled by them. You know, they had Dragonfly, they had 18th Street Lounge, they had Red, all right there in the corner. I mean,
I forgot that they had them all.
and that was like, you know, you'd go to Dragonfly, get some sushi. Then you go to 18th Street Lounge, have some drinks, chill. Finish the night off at Red on the dance floor in an underground club listening to like deep house.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like your whole night was already like it was set.
Yeah.
Like, it was done.
And it had that trifecta happening right there.
And you were hearing music that you weren't going to hear anywhere else. I mean, Dragonfly was playing atmospheric drum and bass, like all the LTJ Bucum, all of the good-looking records. That's what you were hearing there.
Yeah.
You know, where can you say in DC where they were playing strictly atmospheric drum and bass?
Yeah.
And then leave there and go to 18th Street Lounge and hear the most eclectic down-tempo, mid-tempo stuff that you've never heard anywhere.
God.
You know, and then finish off the night deep house at Red. I mean, now, when I think back about it now, I'm like, that's like a dream come true.
That's like marketing in some ways. Like I'm thinking of
there was no marketing.
No. But I'm thinking of like, not marketing. The business model. I'm thinking of the business model. I'm thinking of like where each of those were positioned, as far as location goes. And you're right. Like the way you walk through that, it's like, yeah, of course that's the way it's going to work. And wow.
So you think about this. They didn't advertise. Right? Everything was like word of mouth.
This is early internet too.
They opened up in 93, dude.
Yeah.
It's like before the internet.
Fair.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't there. I was still too young.
Yeah.
You know, I think I first went into 18th Street
young.
Lounge when in like 98 or something like that, or 97. I started playing at Red, I think in like 99. You know, so anyway, you know, dude, there's so many attractive women walking by. Like this is like crazy.
Welcome to Eaton Hotel.
I'm so distracted. I'm so sorry. I had to say that. I'm so sorry, dude. There's a lot of attractive women walking by. But anyway, so where were we? Oh my god.
We were talking about the trifecta. We're talking about 18th Street Lounge and the entire structure of that.
Yeah. Oh well.
And timing.
Felipe, he made a good comment. The city paper was our internet. This is true.
True.
It's true. That's true. You got that. Like you nailed it on that. Oh, what's up, Lizzie? I brought you out of the lurk. What up? Thanks for tuning in. So, you know, dude, sorry.
No.
I got so distracted by that.
We're gaining into your. I mean.
The 18th Street Lounge and how
But I'm gonna jump the shark, dude. You've been there for 25 years.
But let me tell you how there's a secret of how
right.
they made shit work at ESL and why it did work so well. So it was like, you know, he brought up the city paper. Do you know how much like it was to put an ad in the city paper?
I have no idea.
Like a couple $1,000 like a week.
Really?
Right?
Crap. Holy shit.
So like one of their things was like, we're not going to spend a couple $1,000, you know, because if you think about it, like every week, you know, maybe it's like a couple $1,000 a month. Yeah. So like their way of promoting was like, we'll just give out like $1,000, $2,000 worth of drinks.
Interesting.
And you go and tell your friends, come back next week.
There you go. Wow.
So there was a strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was some sort of promotional logic going on, but there you go.
I love it.
So instead of putting out ads in the city paper, like he said, you know, just give out free drinks.
There you go.
You know, I just gave away a big thing right there. Like,
but
you know, if venues did that, like instead of spending money on social media and all this stuff, they, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I can come here and get it. Maybe I'll get a free drink this go around. All right, cool. But either way, you know, it's like just helping to lubricate the party a little bit. You know? Yeah. That
works.
Yeah.
But, you know, in addition to that, the music was good. It was different. Nobody else was doing anything like that. It had a vibe. Like that 18th Street Lounge venue was some president's home or something back in the day, or I forgot who. Jefferson or somebody, I think.
We'll do a little googly doo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Put it underneath here.
Look up the address. But it was something historic.
Okay.
Back in the day, But yeah, then when Red closed, that's when I started playing at 18th Street Lounge.
Yeah.
In the mid 2000s.
Wow.
2005. But
what was the demo tape that got you in on that?
On Red.
Was it on Red and not on 18th Street Lounge?
Yes.
Okay. So the demo tape that got you into Red wasn't a house tape.
One side was house, one side was atmospheric drum and bass. I think I even named the tape Lounge Pad or something like that. I don't know. I was just like, my friend Jefferson, Evecom Designs, he's a graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
We were friends since high school, and he was a graphic designer. And when I was started to put tapes out, he would design the tapes and print out the tape covers for me.
That's awesome.
So Jeff and I also, shout out Evecom, he I was like, I got him, I'm like, guys, this is the guy that's doing my tape covers. You guys should hire him.
Mm-hmm.
So Pollen, I think, eventually hired him. Then the M3 guys, they started doing parties, and then they hired him. He was doing all their flyers, and then they later bought Club 5. Wow. I was DJing there too for the M3 guys. I knew them from high school too. Tim and Who Man. They had a lot of great events, parties around town. Bionic Buddha.
Forgot about that one.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
That was at the Edge. I think on 4th of July weekend or something like that. It was a crazy party.
Yeah.
But they had, which reminds me.
Yeah. I mean,
I forgot.
This bag of flyers.
Bag here of old Yoshitoshi bag.
Dude,
Yoshitoshi bag.
Dude, that thing almost needs to be framed.
Yeah, it's an old bag from Yoshitoshi. We got so far into this, I forgot about it. But
I mean, and I want to be respectful of your time because I know you've got an early morning tomorrow.
I do. So we'll have to. Maybe this is just the beginning of
this might have to be beginning of round one.
Anyway, there's so much stuff in here. But look, here's a Sting flyer from 2000, February 4th. Who's on the lineup? Doc Martin, Wink, Switch Dance, John Tabb, Sheila Storms, February 11th.
What I already love about that is the variety of genres that you've just named off.
East Coast Boogeyman, Tom B. That was when I used to go by Tom B, by the way.
Yeah.
And you can check it out. Check it out here. Check it out there. God. And by the way, shout out to Airline Industries since we brought up graphic designers. I mean, dude, these guys, were the best graphic designers ever. They did all the design for Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Paul Miller did my Rhythm and Culture logo.
Oh, wow.
Who did all the buzz flyers and everything like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, shout out Paul Miller.
It's funny because I would get these flyers in Ohio and I would drive the
dude, I don't even know when the last time I saw this.
But it's also even on the lineup, it's trance, house, drum and bass.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that is a hell of a party.
Yeah, look how I was playing with back then. That was 26 years ago.
That's bonkers.
Wow.
So, as this is a drum and bass podcast, for the most part,
it is.
I want to jump you forward a little bit to the stuff that you're doing right now with these YouTube cabin jams.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, let's just fast forward.
I'm going to jump forward a bunch because
let's go from the 90s to
we're gonna
post-pandemic.
We're going to do a huge jump because I know that once we get into there, we can easily spend probably another 3 hours because we will nerd out. And I want to be respectful of your time.
As we're doing this, in real time. I really like doing this.
Yeah, and I think we should do this again.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree.
And maybe even like choosing another topic, but who knows? But
Yeah.
but talk to me about how you got into doing these one-off, like, and if for those of you that don't know what this is, it's like he's sitting in a cabin, or it's an overhead shot of usually it looks like a Dallas setup. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you see like the Ableton, the Push 3 or something like that, also set up in this rig. But it's usually a very stripped down view. And he builds and plays a song. And it's like maybe 5 minutes. Sometimes they're like 8. And they're beautiful. I mean, I've loved them so much, and like as someone who's already a soulful house producer, and I know you on that end, to then get this soulful, airy, atmospheric is actually the term I'm looking for.
Okay.
Drum and bass sound. Like, walk me in. Like, what inspired you to start like running down that?
I used to DJ at Dragonfly. Like I said earlier, so one of the few places that was doing like atmospheric drum and bass.
And were you playing drum and bass out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, let's. I see where you're going with this. You're trying to bring up. So anyway, I made this tape for Fareed that was Cena from Pollen was like, after Pollen was done, he was like, oh, they're looking for DJs at Dragonfly. My friend Fareed is the owner there. If you have a drum and bass tape or something, hook him up. Maybe you can get a gig there. And he was like, by the way, he owns Red too. So I was like, I'll make a deep house tape on one side and atmospheric drum and bass on the other. So Fareed liked it and was like, why don't you play at Red? So that's how I started playing at Red.
Okay.
Then I started playing at Dragonfly too, like on like a Tuesday night, like, because I was DJing so much, like on the weekends. Like, I mean, I was DJing like 5-6 nights a week back then. Like, okay. I was playing a lot, in my 20s. And I just loved atmospheric drum and bass, dude. I like, there's something with me and that sound. I was collecting that stuff already from the 90s. The metalheads, all the metalhead stuff. I remember I had that tin can.
Oh, you had the tin? Oh.
Yeah. You're probably going to hate me because I sold all this stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, I was like,
so you were like knee deep in good looking records and okay.
Good looking. Omni Trio was like one of my favorites. One of the tapes that really opened me up to atmospheric drum and bass, and this was probably like 95, 96.
Okay.
Was DJ Sign.
I don't know if I can.
From Pittsburgh.
I don't know that one.
Steel City Jungle mixtapes. Do you know Steel City Jungle?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
You're going to send me down a rabbit hole.
Now we're going to go back down the D&B spotlight. Now you're going to know why this is the D&B show. Yep. Okay. See, now I do have something to contribute here. So so there was these tapes by Bulletproof.
Okay.
And he would make these, some guy would make tapes of DJs, right? DJ Sign was one of them. And this particular tape was DJ Sign.
Okay.
The tape was white, and it came in a white cardboard box that opened up, and it had a stamp on the backside where it opened up. To this day, I've never seen anybody with this kind of case.
Okay.
When you open it up, on the backside, he had a stamp that said Bulletproof, and it had a tank on it.
Okay.
And it was like Steel City Jungle. The Bulletproof mixtapes. Everything was like steel. Because it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So everybody, they had their own drum and bass thing going on in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Diesel Boy is from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, so there you go.
Enough said.
Enough said. So, you know, I heard this fucking tape and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to send it to you. This tape.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I'm friends with him on social media now, you know, but I think maybe 15 years ago, well, that's like 2010. I think around 2010, 2011.
Okay.
I started craving that mixtape. I started searching for it and I found him.
Really?
And I think, you know, he had a SoundCloud with all his mixtape. I'm like, dude, what happened to that Bulletproof tape that was all white? And he's like, oh, dude, I still have it. I got to put it up on SoundCloud. I'm like, please, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, yeah. No, I want to hear this now.
DJ Sign, dude. Shout out to DJ Sign. Dude, proper drum and bass.
Links in the doodly-doo, guys.
Yeah.
You'll find them.
Yeah. I can even look it up real quick for you because I feel like this is something that you need to know yourself.
And this is partly why I do this, just so that I get informed.
Nobody's ever talked to you about Bulletproof?
No.
There you go. DJ Sign is a drum and bass artist known for the 1997 release Spectrum 97. This appears to be a mixed cassette release on Philadelphia label Bulletproof Recordings, as detailed in the Discogs entry for DJ Sign. Okay, so, you know, was it a record label? No. It was, I forgot. I don't know the guy who did it. See, this here, this is it. It's green.
Okay.
But the one that I had was white.
Okay.
Right? And the cardboard box was white. And then the Spectrum 97 was yeah, this was it. That was one side.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even think that's it. That's not the one I had. Anyway,
Okay.
you know, of course I had the hard to find. You know. Who knows how I even got that tape?
I had the special one.
But, you know, it was, you know, one of my favorite, you know, and that's DJ Sign is how I got into the atmospheric drum and bass.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, and then, you know, from there, that's when I used to go to Music Now.
Mm-hmm.
They had a dope drum and bass selection.
Really?
12-inch dance music, nada. Not a ting.
Yeah.
Nothing for drum and bass. So I'd have to go get my house at 12-inch. Then we'd make our way over to Yoshitoshi or Music Now. I don't even remember what era that was.
Yeah.
But I think at that time, 97, that was probably Music Now.
Okay.
You know, maybe, you know, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me on that. So anyway, that tape just changed my life for drum and bass.
That's amazing.
You know, the flip side of it was this dark drum and bass.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like it.
Okay.
Just didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, how could this DJ, do this on one side and the other side is just so, not that it was mixed bad.
Yeah.
You know, DJ technically wise, it was fine, but just the music selection I wasn't into. I wasn't really into some of that stuff.
But that's the fun yin and yang and variety of sounds that drum and bass brings.
Offers.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that has made it stand up and last, where other subgenres in the electronic realm have kind of died off.
Right.
Right. They didn't quite have the lasting power.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't a one-trick pony just because of a particular sine wave or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I got into drum and bass.
Okay.
The atmospheric, that tape was I need to start collecting. I need to start buying atmospheric drum and bass. I didn't have anywhere to play it.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody's booking me for house.
Yeah.
You know, God forbid I play a Too Tough party. Drum and bass, you know.
I'm sure that would rock a world.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm speaking sarcastically here.
Yeah.
But, that's something we can go into another time.
Another day.
Yeah.
But so then moving forward with these cabin sets that you're doing, though,
Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the cabin set.
Yeah.
So you see how excited I got, like when we were talking about DJ Sign and like atmospheric, and as we are getting, I'm getting older. I start thinking back at my man, dude, I want to start doing like atmospheric drum and bass again.
Okay.
Right. And there's a lot of new stuff that's coming out that's atmospheric that I like.
Yeah.
But it's not like available in places that I would think. Right? Like, where do you buy drum and bass from when you buy your DJ music to DJ with?
Oh, I was gonna say at this point it's either Juno or
Beatport.
Are the two. Yeah. Either that or Bandcamp.
Yeah.
I mean, often I'll find an artist I like and then just stock them.
I've sat on like Beatport trying to find like good atmospheric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing new. All the old stuff is on there.
Yeah.
All the classics, all the good looking stuff is on there. But I'm like, I want to find some like newer stuff. Like, yeah, you can find there's stuff in there, but not a lot. Mostly you got to like dig hard, or you got to know what you're looking for. Like on Bandcamp.
Yeah. Bandcamp is so hard to search, but man, it's like the moment you find someone that you like and you just like dive in and it's like, oh, it's all here, and I wish that it had a better recommendation engine. If you like X, then check out Y sort of thing. That would be amazing. But.
So, okay. So, now I'm like, start thinking, we're getting older and we start reminiscing. I'm like, dude, I fucking love some atmospheric drum and bass, So, I don't know, like, I think it was like a couple years ago.
It was after COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was after COVID. Me and you met.
Yeah.
Like, officially right before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been like a little over 7 years.
God. No,
right?
It's been longer than that because our kids were
at the playground.
Yeah, at the playground, wicked young too. So like, we're probably going on 10, maybe 12 years now, knowing one another.
Well, my kids are not that old, so it can't be that.
I was like, I mean,
I think it was like 18.
Okay, 19. I was gonna say my kid's 11, so it might be 8. Okay,
yeah, I think it was like
she might have been 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it was like 18, 19.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, fair.
I remember you made fun of me and my kids were all wearing matching outfits.
You did look like you just came from a family photo shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing that with my kids, dude. I love that. Shout out to my kids. Love you, Joey and Johnny. So I started just like, I'm like, dude, I want to start making that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude in DC, he started putting stuff out on whatchamacallit?
Bandcamp?
On Metalheads.
Oh. Okay.
What's his name? The Indian dude. Ravi?
Oh.
Ravi?
No,
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, Ravi. What am I thinking?
I'm sorry, like total like out of context.
So
wait, what?
Ravi and I start talking. I meet him. We started doing we did like a drum and bass party at the new 18th Street Lounge here. And I started playing drum and bass again. With Ken Lazy, and Ken Lazy introduced me to like all these guys.
Nice.
And
by the way, Ken has a show here. It's called Lava. It's well worth.
He did it last night, right?
Yeah,
I saw it. And he introduced me to like MC Concept, a couple of the other guys, Ravi, just a bunch of the guys. We were doing live streams on like Twitch and all this and that, and I was playing, and of course I'm doing like atmospheric drum and bass. I'm like, dude, I want to start making this stuff. So Ravi's like, dude, you gotta check out this guy on YouTube.
Okay.
Thought Forms.
We'll have to Google.
Oh my god. I'm neglecting you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good, man.
I just tell you about this guy.
No, it just means I'm gonna have so many links to put into the description.
Here, so Thought Form. This is him, not that guy.
Oh no, but he's on the Omni.
I think that's his label, Omni Music. So he says, dude, you got to check out this guy.
Okay.
Thought Forms. You're going to love it. You love atmospheric drum and bass. Like, that's for you. So I'm like, all right. So I start watching this guy's stuff, and I'm like, oh, man, he's using, like, the Triton, the Korg M1, like, all these, like, classic, synthesizers that a lot of the drum and bass producers were using back then. Korg Wave Station, all these Korg, and I'm like, I have all these plugins.
I've already got it.
I already got this stuff.
Why don't I just make it?
What's up? So I start making this stuff for fun, like just for me. Maybe I have some intention to release some of this stuff in the future. Then, like, an old friend of mine, Brian Corey, shout out Brian, and he has a cabin out in West Virginia, and like, it's like, dude, you gotta come out here and hang, bring some music gear, and make some music outdoors and stuff. And I'm like, make music outdoors? That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right? Making atmospheric drum and bass in the middle of the mountains of West Virginia
That sounds like a winner.
in a snowstorm with the fireplace going. Let's do it. So that's the beginning of me doing these drum and bass, atmospheric drum and bass YouTube videos. Brian, he used to play drum and bass too in the 90s too.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a drum and bass head, and, it wasn't like, I'm hanging out with somebody that's not familiar with the type of stuff that I'm doing, too. So, and even just being around him, he's a DMB head. That even kind of like encouraged me too, like, let me make a drum and bass track. And then it just kept going, but, yeah, I mean, that's how those videos started, dude.
That's awesome.
And the problem with those videos for me is that I'm making videos and I'm not releasing music. I need to release more stuff. But yeah, I just got so excited with this new sound and this new stuff and new equipment, new atmosphere, new scenery, new area. I mean, I've always made music like in my home, I never thought about going across the street from my house outside making music, let alone going out in the wilderness somewhere. Like, just never, the thoughts never like crossed my mind,
Yeah.
And like, why?
And now you're rolling with, like, your gear seems to be getting more and more compact. And I know from you in particular that your gear is becoming more and more compact as you offloaded just a bunch of stuff recently.
Yeah, today. You want to get into that?
We're already beyond time for you.
We got like 10 minutes. I'll give it 10. Because I thought we were going until like 10:30,
all right?
Right?
Give me the give me the new hotness.
But
then.
look, if you really, obviously this time is going by like way quick fast.
The mere fact that like we've completely carved out like an entire chunk of a couple decades out of your story.
But it's just chunks. Like, I think there's people going to be mad at me because I didn't mention them, and
it'll. But this just means that there will be another one.
Yeah,
because
there's more to come.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for that.
No worries.
So, music production wise, Deep Zone. Oh, Kalu, Deep Zone 31. Thank you, Kalu. That's his.
Aye, okay.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ravi.
I didn't know his government name.
Okay. Yeah. But I have him down as Ravi on my phone. So, wow. People are watching here, dude. What's up? Shout out to YouTube. Mike Freak, Colin, Laurent, Deep Zone. All right. Thank you.
Big ups.
Big up. So, musically, with music creation and everything, I'm using so much equipment. I have a laptop. I'm using Logic. I'm using Ableton. I'm using Machina. Right? That's the software. Now we got to get controllers to use the software, right? Because we want to have like a hands-on,
tactile. Yeah.
want to touch, turn. you know, and it's not just about wanting to touch something like to be old school, but you do get a more precise dial in when you're using a knob as opposed to like a mouse.
True. But you can also be a little looser as well.
Yeah.
And in that looseness, helps to build that swing, which helps to build
that groove and you want to dance.
Yeah.
You know? So, well, there's swing is a whole other thing. See, so you're going there with me.
I'm leading you.
Yeah, you are. I see what you're doing here. But, for me, I got to start. It's just right now, like musically, I'm using so much different stuff: Ableton, Logic, Machine. I'm using all these different things. You see my laptop. I have the Push 3, Machine, MK3, Machine, Jam. Then I have a little mixer controller for the mixer for Ableton. It's just like it's overwhelming for anybody like to like create. Like, so I got into this place where I'm just like fiddling so much and I'm having so much fun doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm not finishing anything. And I'm not releasing like I should be.
So you need to get more
released
streamlined.
an album this year.
Right on.
Yeah, I released an album in January called Again and Again. And it was just, I moved to a new distributor. Symphonic Distribution. Shout out Oz, the Symphonic crew. They're in Nashville.
Really?
All the distributors and record labels are mysteriously all in Nashville all of a sudden.
Huh.
Well, see, this is another whole. We could keep going.
Oh, we're just gonna have to.
Yeah. So
and we might have to spin off on a whole nother podcast. Maybe it's just you and me just shooting the breeze.
I think so. Because there's a lot of times where I feel like I should be asking you questions too.
But the thing that is, like, I love it that, like, this is our phone conversation. So what you all don't know is that because we have been neighbors, or much closer neighbors
and nerds,
I will call him or you'll call me, and we will then just prolificate on a phone for hours at a time.
Yeah.
And it might even be like, and then we'll stop for a brief moment because you have to go back to work. I have to go back to work. Something that comes up. But then we pick right back up from where we last left off.
That's kind of like what we're doing today.
This is
one of our phone conversations with live streaming. So,
True.
So anyway, all the, this, I put out this album in January, right? I moved to this new distributor. I was with, Virgin Music was doing our distribution. Okay. Right. And when I left Virgin to go to Symphonic, they were like, dude, we're gonna need like at least like one release like every 4 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh dude, yeah, I can do it. Totally. So starting January, we're gonna move from Virgin. Rhythm and Culture is moving from Virgin to Symphonic. So we go over to Symphonic, and I'm like, I got to put something out with them. So I put out like this house album. And all it was just singles of house songs that I put out in the past like 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah,
maybe.
okay.
There were some old tracks on there. But I it was kind of like releasing a compilation of like my old tunes or something.
Package.
I mean, maybe they're not old to everybody. It's not old to everybody. Old to me, new to you, type thing. But anyway, it's just like re-release it, repackage it, put it out. So I put that album out, but there was nothing new on there.
Interesting. Okay.
So and then in February, I put out another single, an atmospheric drum and bass track to follow up my house album, so weird. So I haven't put out anything since then personally. Rhythm and Culture, we've been releasing stuff by Bill Speakman from Second Sky, and we released some of his stuff. We just finished a remix for an artist that's well known on Symphonic, so we got the okay today. They're gonna release it, so that's cool. I have some funny stories about me and Crystal Waters and her team.
Dude, we're gonna have to get
We're gonna have to do another
Yeah.
show for that, right? So, don't even want to get into that one.
jams.
But but I need to be releasing more music, and I'm trying to look for a different workflow in the studio, right? Or or what makes me interested, what motivates me, what inspires me to make music now. Do I want to have a bunch of gear around me that I'm playing with, or do I want something that's like one unit, self-sufficient, that I can connect with the computer, with my laptop, and I can disconnect it, it's battery operated, I can walk around with it too, I can live stream from it, I could do film content with it, so I'm trying different stuff right now. I'm looking at the MPC Live 3 right now, so let's see, you're already laughing. So maybe I'll get it tomorrow. I don't know.
So then I'll just come hang out on your couch.
But I will say,
I'll bring my MPC one over and we can compare.
yeah, we can jam. Or you should sell it and upgrade with this one. We can jam out like that. But, I got the MPC sample, the little Fisher Price looking thing that everybody makes fun of. But dude, that one, just everything in that little thing made me realize that I need something like this, but that can do more. Because I started programming drums in it. I'm like, dude, what a nice swing. The drums are dope. It's like this MPC swing feel thing that's great. Then I was like, oh, let me start dabbling with chopping samples and stuff and using their filter. Right,
We were talking about this, yeah.
Yeah, using the Akai's filters. But this is inside the MPC sample. I was like, damn, this filter's dope. Kind of has that filtered disco house stuff from the 90s that I like, that I've been trying to replicate. I can't replicate it really, and maybe I'm just don't know what I'm doing in Ableton. I don't know.
But
There's
on the
some
other hand, or
things-
maybe you just always needed an MPC in your life.
I did have one in my life. I just didn't click with it.
I mean, the hardest thing that was for me with the MPC was getting over the not having a return button, but it's the do it button. That drove me nuts.
That's what I discovered in the MPC sample.
Yeah.
Everything is do it.
Do it.
Do it. I'm like, do it. Done.
Doing it.
Done. So, yeah, anyway, but that opened me up to the MPC world. And I was like, I think this is what I got to do. So
Okay.
I returned it. I got rid of it. And, but shout out to Ableton. Shout out to Native Instruments. I mean,
Yeah, they've been hooking you up for a while now.
I've been endorsed by them for a while. And I love Push. I love Machine. I love Native Instruments. Their sound packs. They all their expansions, all their stuff that they have, so dope, so great. And for me to do this stuff, that, going back to my first record,
Yeah.
that I put out on East Coast on Odds and Ends label, it's 1030. I did that on a laptop in my bed. There's something about making music in weird places for me. I mean, maybe bed is not that weird, but just I made that in bed.
But it's
Not sitting at a desk in a proper studio, in bed. You know what I mean? So I like doing that, there's something inspiring not being in a traditional setting. I've been in a traditional setting.
So what you're saying is that your next thing is to then have a travel show where you then travel around with all your fun gear and we go to the Swiss Alps and...
Well, I am going
Korea.
to Colombia at the end of the month.
See, there you go.
I'm probably going to bring the MPC Live with me.
I was going to say, time to make some content.
And, you know, it does have a built-in mic. It's got speakers. I can just plug the iPhone directly in there. No, but, you know, I'm trying to find something that I need to be finishing music, and I'm not. I haven't lately.
Okay.
I know I'm releasing stuff here and there, but it's kind of like out of desperation. I'm like forcing myself, you know. But I need to do some proper releasing.
Well,
you know?
I look forward to hearing your new releases, even if it's under duress.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
And all the links will be in the doodly-doo so that you can listen along too.
Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for having me.
No, dude,
am I ending the show on you?
You're
or?
ending the show, but that just means
you know, by the way, I've been eating the mic the whole time.
we all have been. But it's also been like, I realized that like we both sound like we're having like very low volume, almost sultry
I work in
conversations.
live TV during the day, so every time I'm seeing you, I'm like, let's put it a little closer to you.
Oh Lord, I love it.
But anyway, dude, thanks for having me. This is a dope spot.
Hell yeah, man.
I love it. Are these your mics?
No, these are.
Oh, this is theirs.
Yeah, this is their stuff.
Okay.
Everything else is mine.
Okay. But I have one of these.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I love.
You
these
have
guys.
one?
No, I don't. And you know what? I would want one of these, but I want one with a cloud lifter attached to it, just so that we don't need
I
to
have a lifter.
do the game push on it.
I even put like my logo on here. It's
Oh.
fancy schmancy.
Fancy.
It's cool.
All right, thank you so much for
Dude,
coming.
thanks for having me. Can we do this again?
Yes.
Seriously.
No, let's do it again. And
maybe we should just start a show.
I think we should start a show, and I think we could also do it really anywhere. Maybe we
like
just
that.
put a couch out in the middle of a field.
Dude, you know where's a dope spot?
Hmm.
Where that little water thing is by us.
Oh yeah.
What is that area?
Um,
It's across the street. And,
it's like Cameron Run.
Cameron Run.
Yeah,
yes,
Cameron Run.
yes.
Yeah.
I used to jog there all the time during the pandemic.
I've always wanted to set up a DJ booth down at that like little beach rock area.
Yeah, let's do that. Where all the geese are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They poop everywhere. They attack you.
Yeah.
They attack you when you're on your bikes.
Oh yeah, they're vicious.
Oh, he said, I want to visit the cabin. All right.
I think we
Don't sell the MPC one. He's telling you that.
What?
I told him to sell the MPC one.
It's got a horrible
for-
touchscreen.
I saw that.
I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Is it the One Plus?
No, it's not the One Plus.
Okay.
It's just the one. It's the original one. And I bought that, and I sold my MPC 2000 to buy that because it had the touchscreen. And I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this drum machine. Like, this is going to be my beast. And it was. And it was what I did. Almost all my PBS music production was
cool.
on that MPC one. And then the Pioneer DJS 1000 came out, which was that drum machine and sequencer in one that looked like a CDJ. And it all fit together. And I fell in love with its workflow, but to this date, the best drum machine I've ever dealt with was the 404, the Roland SP 404.
You have that?
I had the original, and that workflow I'm still upset that I got because I sold that to get the MPC 2000.
Oh, wow.
Right? And like, talk about
There's a new SP 404.
I know the MK2, you know, blah blah blah.
I was looking at that too.
I still love its sampling and chopping, editing abilities because it's so simple, so clean. It made sense to me at the time. But
It's like everything's about like resampling in there from like one pad to the next, and then delete that one and then put it back to there.
yeah, it makes sense once you're in it, but it seems like a little bit of a
It sounds
weird,
crazy.
It is a
talking
very
about it. Yeah,
bizarre
yeah.
workflow until you're in it and you've done it a few times and you're like, oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
But I'm curious about your workflow now with the MPC. I pulled out my MPC when I charged it today. It's been sitting in a Gator case for almost a year, so like it came back out. We'll see.
You know, the whole thing that made me consider this was I saw a video on the MPC One Plus, And that's what started me
down the rabbit hole.
Wait, when I'm using the MPC sample, like I keep like wanting to go touch something else, or and it's nothing there. And then this video pops up on YouTube, of course,
because the algorithm
and
has
I'm
it.
like, oh, he's going to the screen and he's doing this, and you can. Anyway, Deep Zone, respect to the 404. Do sell the MPC one then.
All right.
Well, then you got to upgrade, dude.
All right.
Deep Zone, we have faith in you. We believe you.
Indeed. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
All right, you. Let's make sure
Thanks, bro.
that you can wake up in the morning, because I have to do the same. I have to go proctor
Okay, then let's
test.
get out of here. Thanks for everyone tuning in.
Yeah. Keep smiling, everyone.
Big up, big up.
Yeah. We'll catch you on the flip. Until next Thursday, when we do our next DC DMB Spotlight. Keep it locked to the socials. They'll be down the doodly doos. And I'll catch you on the flip.
Peace. All right.
One more.
So you know what I was going to say? I thought I was going to be on the right side where it says Thomas Blondet.
Originally you were.
I thought I saw something like that. I thought I saw it in the beginning. Anyway, dude, we could go through all these flyers.
Okay.
That could just be one show.
I feel like that is the next show.
That could be
Just
one
going-
show.
Yeah, just going through the flyers and documenting all those things. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
sorry,
Anyway.
I kept moving my camera around.
No.
I was like, dude, because I was seeing myself, and I'm like, I gained so much weight from like having hernia, and I was like, why? Looking at that angle shot of me, I was like, oh my god,
I was just
dude,
laughing
and
because I was like, oh man, you are